Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how I made these little knit water balloons. These are reusable water balloons and I made them on my 22 pin machine. I am going to talk just a little bit about the yarn that I used though first. So here's the yarn that I use. This is Bernat Bundle Up. As you can see, it's a machine wash and dry yarn and I like it best, but there's a few other yarns that I use too. Baby Rainbow and Yarn Bees Breathe Deep also worked really well. This Bernat Bundle Up I did like the best on the machine, but all three yarns worked really great. This yarn I find is a better yarn than the thicker blanket yarns because they're a little rough on a knitting machine and these ones just slide through real easy. So let's get into the pattern now. Okay, let's get started. For these samples I'm using the Bernat Bundle Up. So we're going to start with our knit tube. I knit 43 rounds. I do not use waste yarn when I cast on, just cast on normally and leave a long tail. And then I do use waste yarn when I cast off, and again I'm going to leave another long tail. Okay, we're going to start with the cast on edge. We're just going to cinch it slightly and we're going to kind of inside it out and pull that tail up to just about 4 or 5 stitches from the cast off edge here. So you want to kind of find that tail and cinch it tight. And then we're going to thread onto a darning needle. Okay, now we're going to just find where our tails are and we're going to count about 4 or 5 stitches down or so. And we're going to bring the tail yarn from the cinched edge there. We're going to be creating that little kind of frilly little thing that is at the end of the water balloon. We're going to be creating that. It's just a single layer and then the rest of the water balloon is double layer. We're going to just create a drawstring here around, and then I'll meet you guys back at the beginning. And we're just going to kind of leave that loose for now, and now we're going to kind of finish off the edge of the little frilly thing. Okay, grab your tail yarn, and we're going to just kind of finish these off here with a crochet hook to close those stitches. So grab your crochet hook. I'm using an H8. You're going to find that first little loop and you're going to insert your hook and just grab the tail yarn and just pull it through. And then we're just going to be doing slip stitches. So you're going to insert into one of the little bumps here, grab your yarn and just pull it through to do a slip stitch. And we're going to do that all the way around. So insert, grab yarn, pull through. Insert, grab, pull. We're going to do that all the way till we get back to the beginning. Okay, so I'm back here at the beginning. I'm going to do the last few stitches here, get them closed up. And I just like to go back through. Here's my very first one here, so you want to make sure you want to grab all of those stitches so you don't end up with any loose stitches there. And I just go back through one more and then I'm going to pull through. I had like the perfect amount for my tail, and now we're going to pull off our waste yarn. Okay, there's the last bit of waste yarn there. And so now we're going to just kind of thread this back onto our darning needle and we're going to just finish off. Loop this around here. And I like to go back around one last stitch. There we go. And then I'm going to go down onto the inside. And then I'm going to bring this yarn up to meet with the tail yarn from the cinched closed. See, it's coming out there. I'm going to meet back down and I'm going to come out in the same spot as that tail yarn. Okay, so now there's that tail yarn, so I'm going to insert my needle and come out in the same spot as that tail yarn. And you don't want to pull too tight on that because you don't want to disturb these stitches here. So we're going to take the yarn from the drawstring that we made and we're going to pull that one tight, and then we're going to wrap it around a few times or so, and that creates like the fake knot, I guess you would say. And then we're going to tie it in a few knots to secure it, and then I'm going to hide my yarn tails into the inside. Okay, so now we're going to cinch the top part closed by using that tail yarn that we just cut off. So we're gonna put it onto the darning needle again, and we're gonna create a drawstring similarly to how I've done my gnome, where I just kind of pick up every other stitch along the folded edge of the tube here. And we're just gonna do that until we get all the way back to the beginning. Now that we're back at the beginning, we're just going to bring our yarn and kind of tie it in a little knot here and tighten it up. And when you do that, you're going to notice kind of like two little bumps here that kind of come in a little dip there. I like to kind of bring that in closer by just going through a few of the stitches. I'm not going to go into these stitches, and I'm going to connect it around by going in a few of these ones here. I'm not like counting, I'm just kind of randomly going through stitches. I'm going to do that, kind of making it smaller and smaller each time, and then after I find that it closed up and looks pretty good, I'm just going to tie it off. And as you can see here, it kind of gives it a more rounded looking top, and I just kind of think that it looks a little bit better. And then after we're finished with that, we're just going to tie it in a few knots to secure it, and then hide our yarn tails on the inside. And now you guys have some water balloons. I like this size. I think it's a good size for small hands. And my kids were able to play with these by themselves without really any assistance from me. I just filled up a bucket of water and let them play with them. I did make some packaging that I'm showing you here. It's some tags. I also have some wraps that I think that water balloons may be something that if you just had like with a string tied around them, people might not know what they are. So I find that packaging with some labeling of them is probably helpful when selling at a market. But I hope you guys like this video, and please visit my blog for more information about the yarn and the packaging that I used.